Ever wondered why no cast member has ever told you, I don't know? That's because, according to former Disneyland cast members and training materials, those words are basically forbidden. And that's just the beginning of the wild, behind the scenes rules that keep the magic running. Over the years, I've talked with former cast members, dug through interviews, training guidelines, and policies buried so deep they practically live in their utilidors. What I found were secrets, real ones, that completely change how you see Disneyland. They're the kind of insights that separate casual visitors from people who really understand how this place works. So today, we're going through 13 secrets only Disneyland cast members know, starting with the little things that affect your visit in subtle ways, all the way to the scandal that literally changed the way characters pose in photos. Stick with me. Miss even one of these, and you could end up lost, frustrated, or unintentionally kill the magic for a cast member. Let's jump in. Number 1. The Lost Child Rule. They're never lost, just their parents. One of the very first things cast members learn in training is how to handle a separated child. And here's the twist. Cast members never say the words lost child, ever. Not to the child, not to the guests, not even to each other. Instead, they use phrases like, we have a lost parent. This intentional wordplay helps protect the child from additional and unnecessary fear and even makes them feel like they're helping cast members find their parent rather than the other way around. The moment a separation is reported, cast members spring into a well-practiced operation. A nearby cast member stays with the child. Another starts sweeping the surrounding area. Others quietly radio the situation in using coded phrasing so guests don't panic or swarm in curiosity. And if it all goes smoothly, which it usually does, the child never knows there was even a hint of danger. It's calm, it's controlled, and it's perfectly and magically Disney. So if you ever see a cast member suddenly become laser-focused, looking around while staying cheerful, there's a good chance they're helping reunite someone's missing parent. Number 2. The intense backstage character boot camp. Everyone thinks character performers just put on a costume and walk out. The truth? It's intense, secret, and happens entirely backstage in areas guests never see. Cast members know the real magic of a perfect character interaction comes from rigorous training in a place called the Disney University and other backstage facilities. There are no test runs in quiet corners of Fantasyland. Everything happens behind closed doors. The Character Bible. Performers are given extensive guides, down to how a character laughs, walks, or signs their autograph. They study character nuances the way an actor studies a script. Intense rehearsals. In these off-limit areas, veteran cast members coach new performers. They practice scenarios, improvisations, and character voices until they are second nature. The expectation is 110% before they ever step in front of a guest. The big debut. When a character finally walks on stage into a meet and greet spot, they are already a seasoned pro in character. The first public appearance is their debut, supported by handlers who manage the flow so the performer can focus on making that first guest interaction unforgettable. The secret isn't where they practice in public, it's the level of dedication in private that allows them to instantly become the characters we love when we see them on stage. Number 3. I don't know is forbidden. Have you ever asked a cast member for directions, only to have them send you halfway across the park with a smile? No? That's because cast members are trained to never say, I don't know. Reader's Digest interviewed former cast members and Disney historians and found that cast members must always answer a guest's question or find someone who can. Walt Disney believed every interaction should advance the story, so even a shrug isn't allowed. Instead, cast members offer a helpful guess, accompanied by a call to another colleague to get accurate information. If you ask for something obscure, say where to find the hidden basketball court inside the Matterhorn, cast members will either point you to a supervisor or politely steer you toward the more magical parts of the park. You'll never hear, sorry, I don't know. because the training emphasizes maintaining guest immersion. So, the next time you see a confused cast member, know that behind that smile is a flurry of radios and an internal map of everything in the park. One of the clearest rules in cast member training: never say, "I don't know." Now that you know this rule exists, you'll start to notice it everywhere. Number 4, there's no AC inside those costumes, and they smile anyway. Florida and California heat is no joke, yet characters like Mickey always look fresh. Former fur character performers told Business Insider that there are no fans or air conditioning units in those oversized units. Those suits are just layers of foam and fabric. Performers rely on timed break schedules, staying in shaded areas, and lots of hydration to avoid overheating. Cast members train gradually to acclimate themselves to the heat. New hires might start with a 10-minute set and work up to longer appearances. That's impressive enough, but the emotional resilience is even more fascinating. A former Goofy performer told Voters Travel that they once had to dance and sign autographs while secretly crying inside the costume. The rule is to smile at all times. Yes, performers really do smile under the fur because it helps them stay in character. They can't slouch, sigh, or lean against walls. And as soon as their break time hits, they're whisked backstage where each performer has a dedicated handler ready with water, cooling towels, and compliments to keep morale high. Knowing there's a person sweating and grinning inside that costume might make you a bit kinder the next time you ask for just one more photo. Before we keep going, here's a quick insider tip. If you want real Disneyland tickets at a cheaper price than the official site, check Undercover Tourist. They're an authorized reseller, and their deals are legit. You'll find the link in the description. Ready for the next set of secrets? Things are about to get even stranger, including a rule that dates back to a court case from the 1970s. Number 5. The hands visible at all times rule, and the scandals that created it. Disneyland characters generally pose with both of their hands visible for good reason. In 1978, a family claimed that a Pooh character hit their boy during a photo op, and in 2003, a man portraying Tigger was accused of fondling a teenage girl. The Tigger performer was later acquitted of the charges and reinstated in his job with back pay, but the trial generated enough controversy that Disney tightened its hand placement guidelines. According to The Guardian, after the case, Disney reminded performers to keep their hands in visible, non-threatening positions during interactions and to avoid wrapping arms fully around guests. That way, both the guest and the character are protected from accusations. Beyond legal cases, cast members are taught to use open-palmed gestures. You'll rarely see a character grab someone's shoulders from behind or rest a hand on a child's stomach. It's always a gentle arm around the back or a friendly wave at chest level. Even simple things like handing out stickers or autographs are done with palms up. The habit not only protects cast members, but also feels welcoming and in character for Disney's sweet and villainous stars. Next time you take a photo with Tigger, note how his hands remain in plain view. No hugging too tightly, just playful paws. Oh, and if you're curious about the Pooh incident from the 70s, there's story circulating online. Just don't go down that rabbit hole until after watching this video. Number 6. Characters can't stand still. Literally. One of the more surprising performance rules is that costumed characters are trained to always be in motion. They don't freeze. They don't casually hang out. They don't relax into stillness while smiling. They are expected to reflect the animated energy of the character they're playing. It's why you'll see Goofy constantly bobbing his head, Mickey doing little arm flourishes, and Donald waddling side to side even when he's not doing anything. In Disney's world building, these characters are supposed to feel alive, not like static statues. There's another reason for this rule: guest flow. If a character simply stood somewhere without performing movements, guests would assume a meet and greet was happening. Crowds would form, lines would materialize, and suddenly, what was supposed to be a quick backstage transition becomes a mob moment. Movement signals intent, helps control crowds, and prevents confusion. So if you ever see Mickey moving like he just drank 4 cups of cold brew, remember, he's not hyper, he's following a rule that keeps the park flowing. Number 7. Friends with Mickey. Never admit you are Mickey. If you ever talk to a cast member who performs as Disney characters, you might notice a very specific phrase, "I'm friends with Mickey." One of the biggest secrets you'll hear cast members whisper about among themselves is the friends with policy. Disney's cast member training insists that cast members never admit to playing a character. According to voters, performers are taught to say they are friends with the character they portray and never to break the illusion, even when talking to friends or strangers. The training includes learning to sign the character's autograph perfectly, mimic their gestures and voice, and maintain secrecy. This isn't just for fun, it protects the magic. Imagine overhearing someone on their lunch break say, "I'm Goofy." Kids hearing that would instantly lose the sense of wonder. That's why cast members even have specific lockers and break areas to hide their costumes. When they're off stage, they're off the radar. Many cast members tell only close family members which character they friend, so they can celebrate their achievements in private. And yes, you'll often hear them refer to themselves in the third person at cast parties. "I'm friends with Elsa this summer." We're not kidding, it's part of the job. So if you ever hear a cast member use the phrase, "I'm friends with blank," now you know. It's not a wink, it's policy. Number 8. Most people who play Mickey are women. This one blows most people's minds the first time they hear it. The vast majority of Mickey Mouse performers are actually women. Why? Because Mickey has a very specific approved height range, typically around 4 feet 8 inches to 5 foot 2 inches. While not exclusive to women, that height bracket statistically leans heavily toward female performers. And that's not just Mickey. Height ranges determine who can audition for which roles. Minnie, Mickey, Chip, Dale, shorter height ranges. Goofy, Baloo, Woody, taller height ranges. Villains, princes, certain fur characters, mid-range heights. Casting for characters isn't based on gender, body type, or personality. It's based on whether you can physically match the silhouette of the character. So the next time you see Mickey jumping around, waving, dancing, or bouncing through a meet and greet, remember, behind that iconic voice and a giant smile, there's a good chance you're watching a wildly talented woman giving it her absolute all. Number 9. Villains don't kneel or sit, and they love to sass you. Here's one of the coolest character performance rules. Villains aren't allowed to kneel or sit on the ground. While princesses, Mickey, and Minnie heroes can bend down to talk to kids at eye level, villains do not. Not at Disneyland, not at Disney World, not at international parks. Why is this? Because villains are meant to be intimidating, aloof, and, above all, proud. But here's the part cast members secretly love. Villains get to be sassy. Since their role is to be wicked, they're allowed to throw cheeky insults or snarky quips. It's why the evil queen can reply, "I see no peasants here," when a dad asks for a selfie. Or why Gaston flexes and tells you how lucky you are to meet him. Villain performers often say they have the most fun jobs because they can respond to rude behavior in character. Eye rolls, sarcastic remarks, dramatic gestures. It's all part of the role. Playing a villain may actually be the best-kept dream job at Disneyland. No forced smiles, no bending down until your knees crack. Just pure theatrical attitude. And right now, before we move on, we need to talk about something that flips this entire video on its head. Because the next secret, it's the one that can instantly get a cast member fired, even if they didn't technically break a rule, just because a guest believed they did. We're about to enter the era of Disney's strictest photo op guidelines, and the story behind them is wilder than most guests ever hear. Number 10. Cast members can't acknowledge celebrities, even when they're face-to-face. Let's say Chris Evans, Zendaya, or Tom Holland walks into Disneyland. Guests freak out, phones come out, crowds follow like pigeons chasing popcorn. But cast members, they have to pretend they didn't even notice. The reason is twofold. First, acknowledging a celebrity would break the illusion that characters and cast members live inside their own worlds, not ours. Mickey doesn't have cable. Belle doesn't scroll TikTok. Goofy is definitely not watching Marvel movies. Second, it protects celebrities who want a normal day in the park. A cast member reacting visibly could accidentally start a crowd surge. So the official expectation is treat celebrities like every other guest. Smile, assist, move on. No fangirling, no fanboying, no, oh my gosh, are you? Some performers joke that it's one of the hardest parts of the job. Imagine being a full character and having to greet someone like Beyoncé the same way you'd greet anyone else. No double takes, no questions, nothing. But that's the discipline Disney expects. Magic first, fame second, if at all, every single time. Number 11, Disneyland won't let cast members accept gifts over $75. After an amazing meet and greet, you might feel grateful enough to buy a character something special or hand them a cash tip. Hold that thought. Disney's official standards of business conduct state that employees may accept gifts only up to a total value of $75 per year from the same guest. Cast members cannot accept cash or expensive items. Anything valued above $75 must be reported, and often the gift must be donated to charity or returned. So, if you bring a custom $200 tiara for Belle, she will politely decline or ask you to donate it to a hospital. The rule protects cast members from even the perception of favoritism and keeps interactions fair for all guests. Small tokens like handmade drawings, thank you notes, or a $20 plush toy are totally fine and even encouraged, but don't be offended if your more extravagant gifts get gently refused. Also, be aware that cast members cannot accept any cash or gift cards, no matter the amount. If you really want to give back, consider donating to Make-A-Wish or the Disney Conservation Fund in their honor. Your generosity will be appreciated. This is one of those rules most guests never think about, but it protects both performers and families from weird or unfair situations. It keeps the magic pure and the interactions equal for everyone. Number 12, the no sad kid rule. And it's more real than you think. If there is one unofficial, unspoken rule that cast members take personally, one that they genuinely care about on an emotional level, it's the no sad kid rule. And no, before you picture Sully catapulting a crying child into the fireworks, that's not what this means. The idea is simple. If a child is visibly upset, cast members are empowered to use their discretion in going above and beyond to turn the moment around. It doesn't have to be big. In fact, it's usually tiny gestures that make the biggest difference. A wave from across the courtyard, a playful peek over a character's shoulder, a quick game of hide and seek, a blown kiss, a silly dance, a character pointing to their heart and giving a dramatic "aww." These small moments can happen anywhere. Walking between lands, during a parade pause, even in the middle of a crowded meet and greet line. Performers often say these quick interactions are some of the most meaningful parts of their day. They're not required to force a full photo op. They just try to shift a child's emotional weather a few degrees toward sunshine. And honestly, it works more often than you think. Disney magic is real, especially when it comes from a character who notices someone needs a boost. Number 13, your behavior can affect your experience, but not the way rumors say. There's a persistent myth floating around that if you're rude at Disneyland, Mickey will remember you, and cast members will secretly sabotage your day through your Magic Band data. Let's clear this up. No, cast members do not have access to your personal data like that. They do not have a menu of punishments they can quietly click, and Disneyland does not operate like some sort of magical dystopian karma tracker. But here's the real truth. The park cast members talk about openly. If you're kind, patient, and respectful, cast members naturally go the extra mile. If you're rude, aggressive, or dismissive, they still do their job professionally, but they don't have as much flexibility to create magical moments. Most magical extras, stickers, special interactions, surprise character attention, special seating, or unexpected opportunities are spontaneous moments cast members choose to offer when the vibe feels right. And kindness? Kindness unlocks more magic than any app, wristband, or reservation ever could. Disney doesn't track your behavior, but people remember how you treat them, and at Disneyland, those people are the keys to the kingdom. Which secret surprised you the most? And have you ever seen one of these in action inside the parks? Tell me in the comments down below. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Disneyland's behind-the-curtain world, hit that like button, share this video with your Disney friends, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode here on Castle Compass. And if you're ready to keep exploring, click on the next video on your screen. Your adventure is just beginning.